So today I have Krishna Mohan, founder of Genius Visionary Inc. Krishna, welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great, doing great. Excited,
Excellent.
excited for this call.
Same. So tell me a little bit about Genius Visionary Inc.
Yeah, so Genius Visionary is a management consulting firm. We have been helping large corporations on various aspects like entity structuring, market expansions, growth, mergers and acquisitions, and exit strategies. And then we also realized that small business owners need help. So that's where we thought we also shifted our focus to business coaching, and then we started, helping small business owners who are under $5 million. And we help them to increase their revenues. We help them to get funding. We help them to, build business credit. We also help them to, build the business in a box. So in future, if they want to sell, it has higher valuation. And we have few other things like Genius Online Academy, which is a DIY business coaching platform that can help any business owner to just plug in and then just ride along and build a multi-million-dollar business. So we're doing pretty cool stuff for business owners who are really interested to grow their companies.
Okay. Now, how did you get into this?
Yeah, so I have vast background in the corporate world. From my work perspective, I've been in sales for over 20 plus years. I have business development, marketing, account management, channel management, senior management experience working with Fortune 500 companies, worked in 10 plus different industries, worked for several startups. So along the way, I learned a lot, and that's how I realized that maybe this is the time for me to get into my own, ventures and bring my thought process, my way of solving problems. And I think so that's what excites me. Except what excites me is to solve a problem. Business is all about solving problems, being whether it is a product or a service or an operational problem or a revenue problem. So that's how we designed all of our solutions against those real problems that an average business owner faces on a daily basis. Because I've been there, I've done that. And personally also, I have two other businesses. One is into real estate, other one is into retail. So I understand what it takes to, start, build, and grow a business. So that's how I'm here.
And how long have you been running Genius Visionary?
It's about 5 years now.
Okay.
Like formally, informally, there's a lot of things that we did, prior to that, because we developed a lot of offerings, a lot of, softwares, back-end systems, things like that.
Absolutely. Well, now that you've done it for 5 years, would you share a couple of the hard moments with us that you've learned from?
Yeah, the hard moments it's always a challenge to bring your ideas in a way that it reaches the market. Like you have this brilliant idea, you can do this, you can, you can really solve some great problem. And then you also know that it has such a value in the market. But how do you really bring it out? How do you really bring it out in a way this market is going to accept, right? How do you productize that idea? How do you make it formalize and package it in a way it has, those features, it has those benefits, it has those answers, it has a right pricing point. So it's always a challenge to do that. It takes a lot of time, testing, and research to get there. From my perspective, I'm always a risk taker. I'm always taking chances in life. I'm always testing. I'm always trying. So that model actually helped me to reach closer to my goal as quick as possible. Even though we are like 5 years, almost 5 years right now, it's almost like 100 years for me. The work went in behind the scenes, the experience that we have right now When I mean we, me and my team, we are so wise, because to build one business, probably we would have failed 50 times behind. So the learning and experience come from that, not from these 5 years. So so in other words, that's the secret for, for success. If somebody want to understand that, it's not that the very thing that you're working on will make you or break you. It's the things that are not visible are the real things that are going to really help you to be successful. And how many of them are you willing to do? How many times are you willing to fail? How many times you want to get up and make it happen is the secret. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, could you tell us a story about one of the risks or the chances that you took that even you going into it thought, but then it turned out to be like what moved that along?
Yeah, so we got into e-commerce business, like 2 years ago, and we did our research. We got into right market space, right product, right price point, and everything, and we invested heavily on advertising, including people and a lot of things that go along with that upfront, and then we started doing our part, marketing and selling and everything. What we realized is that we were able to increase the revenues to a point that we're meeting our goals. However, what we also realized is the cost of that sales is extremely high. Majority of that is going directly to your Facebook ads and a lot of other things, a lot of other apps that get along with that. And what we understood is it's not important to look at the top line, especially when you're in e-commerce. It's more about what is it coming along with your bottom line. And if you don't keep tab along with that, you just carried away by the top line. That's why you see on YouTube and everywhere, oh, I'm an overnight millionaire, I'm this, I'm that, I did this, I'm just 11-year-old, but I'm making $2 million a month. Right? Yeah, you can do same search, you'll be able to find that. I'm just 12-year-old, but I make $100,000 a month. Yeah, that I'm 100% sure that's real.
Yeah.
But what we also need to understand is what it takes to get to that number. And then if you just crunch those two numbers, what's left over?
Right.
That tells that whether that's a successful business or not. So that's what I realized. And then for me, it did not make sense. So we just, unplugged and just write off our losses and move on. That's the reality. Or figure out a way to ramp up the same numbers without Facebook.
Right.
Then the money is there. So what I realized is that we have to be cautious, not just about the top line, always keep a tab on your bottom line, and then also realize that at what cost you're getting those numbers. It's extremely important. As business owners, we always lose track. We get carried away. Right. Oh, my company is $5 million this year. We're growing like 30%. So next year we are like almost like $8 million. And then maybe next 5 years, we're looking at $50 million company. That's all nice. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
But at what cost?
Right.
What are the other things involved in that? So yeah, I think this is one important lesson that I learned in multiple instances, and then we always learn and we get better at our game, and that's what we teach to our customer. A lot of the business owners that I coach, they're hung up on the point that my revenues are not growing. Right. My revenues are I'm saturated. I'm stagnant right now. No more customers walking in my door. How do I get that extra 1,000 customers coming to my website? How do I increase my traffic? How do I increase my conversion? So that's a starting problem. As we solve the problem, we always need to keep a tab on this too. It's not always about the numbers. You may have 1,000 customers, but you make X amount of dollars. You can still have 200 customers and make more than X amount of dollars. but it goes back to planning. It goes back to structuring the necessary things, putting the processes and everything in place, and crunch those numbers and come to a place where you clearly know what's your target segment. You clearly know at what price point you're selling it. You clearly know at what positioning your product is getting into the market, and then you will still get your numbers with less stress, less volumes, but you will still get your numbers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So tell me where you see Genius Visionary going in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, Genius Visionary is looking at growing exponentially. In fact, we are extremely optimistic during these times because we position ourselves with a lot of real problems. We have some real solutions. So the need of our offerings right now increased a lot over the last 6 months, and it is continuously increasing. And then without doubt, we are sure we are going to grow exponentially. But how we pivot ourselves is we are focused now on acquisitions. We are looking at acquiring small businesses. Not only we coach them, or not only we have all other offerings, but we're also looking at good performing companies, steady cash flows, being in business over 5 years, but somehow the business need an exit, and we are open to look at it. So we are going to look at that as our important focus while we do what we do. So that's how we're going to add a portfolio of companies and then potentially get into roll-ups or grow our company as a conglomerate potentially. Yeah, so that's where we are going right now.
Okay, well, that sounds very exciting. The other thing that I wanted to ask you about, because you mentioned at the beginning, you have Genius Business Academy. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do there?
Yeah, so the Genius Online Academy is a DIY business coaching platform for those budding startups, budding entrepreneurs. I'm in the corporate world now. I lost my job. I'm in hospitality industry. I'm in a restaurant industry. I'm in tourism industry now. What's next?
Yeah.
Will I go and try another job and get to the same position, or do I do something about it? I've been around for more than 25 plus years. I mean, it's just a reality of life now. So those are the guys who are trying to build businesses now. They have these ideas, and maybe they want to try something out, right? But where do they get help? So they can start with this academy, sign up for that, and then they get the 52 weeks coaching for a year. So it has all the steps, and then the foundational things and the strategic things and the tactical moves that they need to build one thing upon other, and then grow their business. It's a subscription-based model, so they subscribe for it, and then they also get virtual coaching from me while they did the academy through audio, video, and other means. And they have so many tools, resources that you could readily take and implement in their day-to-day activities. So that's the academy, and then we are excited about that to reach small business owners, real small business owners, where they're not having any budget sitting on the sidelines to invest on coaching, or they don't have that extra money to try out new things and things like that. But for them, that's a great starting point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I know that our community will be interested in looking into that. That sounds amazing.
Absolutely.
And during this time when so many people, have struggled, whether it was from job loss or, just a decrease in hours, what a great tool for people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why we just want to really make it no-brainer. It's pretty affordable. Our goal is always like, how can I help the small business owner? We want to be with them along the way.
Right.
You may be in a couple of $100,000 revenue business, but you may be also $6 million business. But we want to be part of that. We have different tools, strategies, tactics along that way. But we got to do the right things at the right timing of the market in the right way. If you mix it up in a different way, the results may not be the same.
Yeah.
That's what we bring into the table. And then we want to make sure that, we teach them, we make them that they do those corrections. So they're set for the growth. They're set for that, success. So there's no looking back. Yeah. That's our model.
Excellent. How can our community jump on board and support you?
Yeah, I think the best way the community can support is to go to our geniusbusinesscoach.com, geniusonlineacademy.com, and sign up. They can get 3-part free education series from Online Academy. They also can get a free download of my 45K, 10K challenge book, where I show at least $10,000 in the next 45 minutes. And how I show that, I listed 8 strategies in that book. They can get the free download of the book. With that, they can use that content and implement a couple things in their business readily. And so there's a bunch of what I would say is content available in Apple Podcast, iTunes, that they can leverage. This is a time where everybody needs help, and then we have so many things that we can give them to start with, and I just feel confident and then ready to take the next step.
Excellent. Well, Krishna, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it, and I enjoyed getting to hear about what you do at Genius Visionary.
Thank you so much, Liz. Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely.